Hello and welcome to the Coach Judy Live Talk Show. I am really happy to bring you our guest, and I just want to give you a real quick overview of what the show is about. We are a show. We're a catalyst for igniting positive thoughts and actions so that you can achieve success personally, professionally, and in every part of your life. Through our guests that are celebrities, experts, authors, and people who have a message to say become guests on our show because everybody has a special message. Today's show, our guest, and the other parts of our show that we're going to be doing has a theme that runs throughout the entire part of it. Please look at your comment box, and when you think you know what the theme is that's running through the show, please post a comment to our show. And I'm excited with our guest because he survived, literally survived isolation, kidnapping, and he was an American working in Venezuela with with the name of the company was Citgo Petroleum. He was the CEO of the company in Venezuela. I would like to welcome Jose Pereira to the show. Please share with us, what's this all about?
Well, thank you for having me, Judy. Well, to your audience, let me try to put the context, okay? Because as you said, I was an oil and gas executive. I did a more than 3 decades career. I began my career in Venezuela, in the oil and gas in Venezuela, because I'm Venezuelan born, original Venezuelan born. So I began the career in the oil and gas of Venezuela that is called Petróleos de Venezuela or Petroleum of Venezuela, PDVSA.
All right.
PDVSA. So PDVSA or PDVSA is the owner of Citgo Petroleum. Citgo Petroleum is very well known here in the U.S. because, by the way, in Florida there has a lot of gas stations, and one of the biggest terminal is in Tampa, Florida. Okay, so very well known, and I was working assigned there, and at the end of my career, I became the CEO of the company. That was in 2017, but in that same year, they were having a lot of issues between the U.S. government and the Venezuelan regime because the U.S. government has declared that this is a communist regime, and
Right.
were working to throw them out because they were hurting the people there. The U.S. government at that time decided to impose sanctions to the country, to the officers of that country, and even they did an oil embargo.
Well, so then what happened to you in ending up as a prisoner? Because I know we have limited time. So can you share with our listening audience, watching audience as well, how did you end up being kidnapped for 4 years, 5 years,
5 years.
5 years?
Well, because during that tension between the two countries, that I didn't never thought that that could affect me. I decided to get retired because I was entitled to get retired. So I flew to Caracas and asked for my retirement. But I received a last minute call when I was already preparing my retirement to go to make a presentation. And that presentation resulted to be an ambush. And we were taken with my five top executives as they kidnapped us, and they took us as hostage because they use us as political pawns to get relief from the U.S. government sanctions. So that was what these guys were trying to do. So the negotiation lasted so long that's why I stayed 5 years. So
Right.
first year I was in a solitary confinement. We were separated. So
So
my
you
first
were isolated. So basically, you were isolated in a place that was small. It had lots of had lights on it, but they were on the entire time.
yes.
What happened to you during those 9 months then?
Well, as I always say, I believe that there was a hand of God because I was having a lot of suicidal thoughts because I was really having a lot of illness. And by the time I already had lost 100 pounds, I was starving. So I was literally trying to take my life off. But, I began to think in my family. I began to think in my family that I really needed to work hard to to come back,
Right.
and that made my mind set a swift. When I begin to have more positive thoughts, and I begin to get more focus on the situation, that really, to tell you the truth, I'm not exactly sure how I did it, but I did it. I did it because this is something that every human has inside. Everybody has that inner force inside, and I discovered that I have it and I use it. That inner
Right.
force. So for me, it has been part of my journey. Today I tell the people that anything that you're going in your life, even in the darkest moment, because for us was the darkest moment ever, and we survived it. It's a matter of attitude. It's a matter of
Right.
choice. It's a
So,
matter of
so you really didn't have a choice, but you found ways to cope so that you could survive. And it took a lot of your mind thought of how to figure it out. So, how
yeah.
did you figure out how to survive? Because I want to say to the audience, you had pneumonia, you had bronchitis, not very little to no medication. It was your body fighting it off itself.
Because I discovered that I needed to be back for my family. Because when after 9 months, I received a call from my wife, a very short call, and she was telling me that they were fighting very hard to bring me back. And by the way, the U.S. government was very involved in bringing us back. So that gave me something that is very important. It gave me hope. So now I'm having hope. Now
So
I'm
it's having
hope,
hope.
and the hope, and that connection with the people that love me, that because any you said it very well, anything in your life, never do it alone. Get connected with the people that love you. So for me, was like I needed to come back to my wife. I needed to come back to my kids, and I began to work very hard on that. So it's everything is here in your mind.
I'm
Every,
glad you said that. I'm glad you said it is the mind, because I always talk about comes stems from the mind, how we think, how we change our thought process when we're going through difficult times. And then also when you were able to join the men, I think you said 9 months later. All right. How did the six of you together find a way to keep going for 4 more years?
well, that is another thing that really did a boost in the situation. When they decided to put the six together, because the pressure in the press and the U.S. government, the pressure that was doing, and now the UN even intervened, the UN. So that there was a lot of pressure. So they decided to put the six together. The first day that we got, after almost 1 year that we saw our faces, that we were all in very, very bad shape, all of us. We
Right.
look skeletons, but we're now together. So we decided to create like I call a survivor plan. So we begin to work very hard to be sane, to come back strong in body and spirit, in soul, and we begin to do things to that. Because when you're going to any situation in your life, you have to be focused on the thing that you can control. I
Right.
have no way to control what was going out. So I
Sure.
left family and I left that to God. So I began to take care of myself. So what we begin to do, we begin to exercise, we begin to do yoga, we begin to do meditations. Now, by the moment we were receiving food and medicine, we begin to take care of our well-being. We begin to receive books, we begin to read. I begin to write. For me, it was very important because I decided to write, to begin to write to my wife. Of course, those were smuggler letters that I begin to put in the trash cans. And
Right.
that letters that I begin to write, I stayed doing it during 3 years with my wife. It was a great connection because we discovered not only that great connection, now I'm very involved with what is going on with our case. And those letters at the end became what you see in the top, that is my book. My book is based on those letters. So those letters became my memoir, and those letters at the end I edited based on those letters. So my book, From Hero to Billion, the core of the book comes from those letters.
Well, I'm so glad you said that, because what I'm hearing from you is that your support was first just yourself, number one, and using and going into your own head to survive and feeling that connection and love for your wife.
Correct.
And then together you were not alone, and you had support by the other men to come up with ways to manage and deal with that.
Correct.
So I just want to say, we have a question here, a comment came through. They wanted to know, how did you get through each day through the starvation and isolation? But I think you kind of answered that by getting into your head.
Everything is in your head. I always tell the people, everything is in your head. Everything you think, it becomes your reality. So if you're having positive thoughts, your reality is going to be positive. If you're having negative thoughts, your reality is going to be negative. Everything is in your head.
Well, and the other thing is, when you're thinking negative and working in a negative, destructive way, you're really hurting your body, your mind, because of the negative components of the body's reaction to these things.
Correct. Totally true.
Well, that's why we have the show, is because we want people to see positive energy comes in different forms, and how important it is to have a positive mindset.
Let me say something else, Judy,
Sure.
because for me it's very important what you has said, because when I came back, I went to a big trauma center under the protection of the U.S. government. We were headed to the big trauma center that is in North Carolina. And by the way, I became friend of the director of that trauma center, and he's the guy that prologues my book. So that when you see the book in the back cover, you will see, and when you open, you will see what he's talking about us, because we became friends.
That's fantastic. I'm going to ask you one while you're talking, because I know you have a limited time and we ran into some technical issues before. Can you tell people how they can get your book? I know it's going on the screen, but you want to give them your website so they can get it.
The more easy way is my website, Jose Connect. Jose Connect, www.joseconnect.com. If you go to Jose Connect, the first thing that will appear will be all the links to Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Lulu, all the platforms. You can buy in all the presentation, back cover, hardcover, Kindle, digital, wherever you want, okay?
Oh, that's fantastic. I also want our listeners to, and those who are watching, is that you even was interviewed by Anderson Cooper, NBC. So would you say all the major national and international media covered you, so that you've got a well-known presence out there?
I decided to put my voice as one of the most vocal voice today in the Jose community here in the U.S. Because this is not a thing of ego, nothing of that.
No, I understand.
It's because I discovered that my story, my testimony can help many families that are going through this situation today. Today, I talk with the families. I support the foundation that work in this area. And many of the former hostages, even that when they return, sometimes they call me and I give them my best advice, because this is not an easy situation. Even when you come back, it's not the end of the story. It's the beginning of the new.
Well, that's so true, because I know, to relate a little bit, because people know me as an expert on divorce and single parenting, and it's the same thing with what we went through. It's like when the court is over, then it really begins your life.
Yes, same thing.
Well, what else would you like to share with our audience? What things did you and the other gentlemen do to survive and cope with your isolation, besides thinking about your family, what you did on your own?
Well, one thing that was so important, and it's something that everybody has to do, don't do things alone. So we decided to support each other. We created a strong bond. We were cheering each other. We were supporting each other. We had like a norm that if somebody for some reason went down, the other 5 immediately came to support him. And even if we were having some stressful situation, because we were in a tiny place, can you imagine that can happen? Sometimes I'm not gonna say that they don't came some frictions, but we never let things go. Everything was immediately correct. Any situation, any argument was immediately correct. Everybody was talking, was franking. Hey, I don't like this. You don't. You have to do this. We were always trying to solve the situation, and we did it great.
And I
We
want to say something that you told me when we did a pre-interview, is that besides supporting each other, is that you found ways to really grow from it rather than letting it be an obstacle that can destroy your life and go on to make a difference.
correct, correct. And there is something else that for me is something really magical, because we discovered, as I said, we were not friends. So when
Right.
we begin to know the stories of each other, because we have plenty of time to know the story of each other, we discovered a lot of patterns that for me was the hands of God. Six guys with more than 30 plus year marriage. Can you
Mm-hmm.
imagine the probability that you put in a room six randomly guys and the sixth guy has 30 plus year married? Very, very weird. No? So
I can
we,
imagine. I can imagine. I can't imagine because everybody's situation is different. You've gone through trauma and major challenges and potential life-threatening situations. It's hard for others to imagine how you cope and get through it and come on the other side and be, as healthy as one can be when you've been traumatized terribly.
yeah. So now our six guys, they have a lot of things in common. We have families that love us. We have kids that support us. We have a wonderful wife. So that creates a great bond, because now everybody's in the same page. All of us were in the same page. And at the same moment, our six family were working together, because the six wives got together and the kids got
Uh-huh.
together. And by the way, they created a campaign called the Bring Our Family Home campaign. That
Wow.
from our families. Our
Well, see,
families.
so it is when you are going through these hard times and you think I'll never get through it, but you get through it, but then you can create, as you say, bonds, support, friendships, and you can go on. And the other thing I know I wanted to bring out is that, and this with the mind, is like creating a schedule, because we all get confused if we don't create, a structure, a schedule, a routine, so we can think clearly.
Well, we did a routine on a daily basis from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. in the night. Very, very tight routine, and we kept doing it during 4 years. Every day, repeated and repeated and repeated. It became a daily routine. One day, 1 week, 1 month, 1 year, and we came back.
I think it's fantastic what you've done. I mean, I remember hearing some about petroleum, Citgo, because it rang a bell, but I didn't know why until I started reading your story. And it was like, wow, I had to have you on the show because to survive, and there's so many people in other countries who are like you were being taken hostage, which we hear about internationally, and trying to deal with the situation. Now, are you able to help others? I know we have a question here. It says, "How could I could never see myself surviving like you did?" Do you do individual or group coaching, or what is it that you're doing with your life now?
I do coaching. I do coaching, and if that person really wants to connect with me, it can DM me, or you can go to my webpage. I have my coaching program that I do 101, where I
Mm-hmm.
do all this. These are things that my friend that is hearing me, believe me, you have that force.
You do. I have
You
to
don't
agree
know
with you.
you have that force. You have
I
it.
agree. It's your force, it's your determination, and to think positive and find things that are positive that's in a negative situation is so key to really becoming a healthy person after it.
Yes, yes. And so today I have my coaching program that I created based on my experience, because I had leadership experience in the past during my 30 plus year in the oil and gas. And now I have these survival skills. And that's why I decided to become a leadership and resilience coach. Today teach this in one-on-one sessions to business owners, to CEOs, or to anybody that is in need. Because again, everybody has that unbreakable spirit inside themselves that you have
Well,
to teach it. You need
and you
to.
see, I understand because that's what I do for single parents for the National Single Parent Resource. It's like giving them the knowledge, giving them the tools so that they can think on their own and lessen the problems that one can have because you don't have the knowledge.
Correct. Correct.
It's great. Is there anything like that? Because I know have to go. Is there anything you else would like to share with our listening audience and watching audience?
No, well, speaking, I have my book now that I'm promoting it because this is my story, and at the same time, I'm a speaker. So if anybody in the audience wants to help me in any event, I do virtual, I do on stage, and today I'm promoting my book as part of this tour. So if, I'm not only speaking, I go with my book and do signing of the books. So anybody that wants to contact me, joseconnet.com. They will find everything there, and they can connect with it through there. There are all my contacts there.
Well, Jose, I see us talking because we're doing the same thing, just in a different area. And I'd love to talk to you further to see how we can help you.
Okay, great. Let's have the connection.
Because that's what we're all about, is as I try to teach and help educate people understand, when you pay it forward, you really do come out ahead and everybody grows from it. And it's really makes life exciting.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming in to our show and sharing your story. We're going to get it out there through our platforms and through our network that we have our show with, that's on Roku, as well as other platforms. I should say, let people know your show, this segment is going to be on 56 platforms. It's going to be on, as I said, a Roku station called, I think it's Box String or Box something, which we're going to have the information up there. And it's going to be totally unbelievable, the exposure we're going to help you get, because your story needs to be told to support and empower others.
Yeah, Julie, for me, it's important when I begin to do this, because I did my interview with Anderson Cooper 1 month after I came back. So
really,
when the production of CNN called me, I had less weeks, and I said I'm gonna do it because I was convinced that I needed to put my story out, because I said, for some reason of God, I went through this, and I survived it. When I was coming in the plane, coming back to the U.S. in the U.S. plane to rescue us, I was so happy that my daughter, when I landed here in the hangar in San Antonio, Texas, in the military base, we landed
right.
in a military base. When I in the tarmac going to the hangar, the family was there. My daughter always tell me that she saw me like I was coming from a vacation. She could not believe. I was smiling, and I told her, you know why? Because I was so happy that I made it.
Right.
So I'm happy that we made it. So I said, I need to tell this story. I need to help others, because if I can make it, others can do it. So that's why I decided to become a coach. That's why I decided to be a speaker. That's why I began to support these foundations. And that's why I wrote my book. So that's my journey.
I want to congratulate you on what you've done and to achieve and what you're doing to help others, because it is so key. You're an inspiration to anybody who hears you speak and hears the story and what you can teach from those experiences, because our experiences are assets, which people don't realize, because you grow and you learn from them. And it's even greater when you can expand that to others and help them reduce the challenges that they can face out of it. Because it's like you're giving back. It's giving what your experience is, as I think for myself, it's given the pain that I've gone through, purpose, and making a difference for others. And I think that's key for everyone. So I want to thank you so much for coming on. I look forward to talking to you again.
Thank you very much. Wonderful. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Okay, bye. Take care. All righty, we're going to go to a commercial break. Okay. Hello and welcome back to the Coach Judy Live Talk Show, a show that is a catalyst for inspiring and uplifting and a catalyst to bring new thoughts and energy to you, the way you live and work and enjoying your life. As I say that our show, as I'm going to take it back here, is we are a catalyst to ignite positive thoughts and actions as we walk through our daily routine and our challenges. We are here because we want to give you knowledge, support by all the various guests that we have on our show from A to Z. This show is for business owners. This show is for parents. This show is for singles. This is a show for anybody in between. And with that, I'm going to go into our next segment. And I also want to say, I didn't get a chance before. Could you please think about what was said and see what we talk in this segment and our next segment? What is the common theme that we are speaking about? And since we are talking about families and how Jose's family and the love of living isolated and being captive gave him strength and encouragement to keep going on rather than giving up, I decided I want to address families in general and a particular style of family. First of all, early on, for generations, families were seen as a mother, child, and father being married. As the generations matured, we have learned that there are more than just that typical family out there. So I'm going to mention all the different families that I'm aware of. There are families who come together in silence because they were in fear of coming out to be who they are, but they became a family. They are now out. They are the LGBT families that we are talking to. And if I missed the whole name, I apologize. There are also families who become families because they decided to be a single parent by choice. And then there comes the families, which is my specialty and is reflective of what Jose was saying, single parent families. Too many conflicts arise when parents split. And that includes those who are dating and get pregnant and carry and have that child. They too become single parents, and I know they don't stop to think about it. Then there are parents who divorce, who then become single parents. And then today, over the last 30 years, because I was one, mothers become non-custodial mothers. And they were looked down upon as though they must have done something terrible, when in reality, you don't have to be a drug addict, mentally ill, have anger issues, or be institutions to become a single parent mom. There are many moms out there who didn't have the funds to fight a long custody battle. I'm just going to fix this a little bit. There we go. Custody battle, because the funds ran out and they had gone to a number of different attorneys because they didn't know how to begin to fight for custody. And since normally then the father or the man in the family was the one who was making the money and they couldn't fight, they became a non-custodial mother. But it doesn't mean they did anything wrong, but yet they were looked down upon. Then you become a single parent sometimes because you have a chronic illness. And because of that chronic illness, you needed help. But the help wasn't there. So what happens is you may have to turn to a family member to help you with your child or children. Not because you're mental, not because you've got all these wild ideas, but because you were chronically ill and needed certain procedures done that you really needed the best care. And being a full-time single parent, for anybody out there, I want you to know it is not easy to be a single parent. We are just like you, but we have a lot more issues that we have to deal with than if you're single or have a happy marriage. And unfortunately, too many unhappy marriages are together because of the children and they don't know what to do. Also, because of the abuse that goes on, they too don't know what to do. So I want you to give thought to, when you look at a parent or a child, look at them as something, people who are positive, they are doing the best that they can in surviving and enjoying life. But how do they do this? How do they achieve in finding joy? And how do they find knowledge? Well, first of all, we've got the talk show. The Coach Judy Live talk show is an avenue to get all types of knowledge on all subject matters, because one of the other things I say is that we are single parents, need the same information that you do. So we shouldn't be looked as anything different than you, but people will. I can say this because one early years of starting the National Single Parent Resource Center that was nationally honored in 1999, and I would ask, I'd like you to make a donation. The comments were, I'm not a single parent, or I have my own charities. And that's why I decided to talk about it today, because of the fact that it's seen as a negative. But I'd like to think today, when I go out and look for donations, that you will think twice in donating to the National Single Parent Resource Center. Parents who are facing family court or are alone after family court need to connect. They need support. They need knowledge. They need connection. And without that connection, they're going to falter in one area, if not all, and the kids get hurt. Addition, kids who are growing up in a family that's not working together in cooperation and harmony, or understand what it means to work in the best interests of the children, what happens? They develop anger, become addicted, develop mental illness, do poorly in school. And those are the sad stories that really happen, that we as a society are paying for through our wonderful programs that the government provides, and the programs like I and others who have created all kinds of programs out of our challenges and help families learn how to work together in cooperation and harmony and deal with the challenges. And most important, our situation, in what we are doing now, is we have programs for families who are preparing to become a single parent by dating, that's online. We also have them for parents who are divorcing online. It's a program that was produced in a 2-hour video back in 2002. Now you can enjoy with and get the knowledge and ignite your life, because it goes into the areas of communication that we've been talking about today. It also is about creating the support that you need today. And it's about getting the knowledge, getting the facts so you can act and achieve success in every part of your life as a single parent. Dealing with the family court system is not what you think it is. As I had papers drawn up, and I thought I understood what the paper said because it made sense. But I realized later on that the papers I was reading meant something different when you're talking legal jargon and what it means with going into court. So I say to you, consider donating and getting involved and paying it forward with the National Single Parent Resource Center. We are located in Delray Beach. We originally began in Boca Raton. We did in-person events. We did classes on divorce. We did support groups. We did socials. So today, we are now all online. We have a new team. We have a great gentleman who is complimenting and doing the Coach Judy website known as coachjudy.info that provides you the links to all types of programs and a program for businesses, because businesses have employees that are dealing with single parent challenges or preparing to become a single parent, or even the business owner is going to be facing. They think they know it all, but believe me, lots of business owners lose millions or thousands of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars through the attorneys and through alimony and child support. But if you would like to save your money, or you'd like to help others save the money, then I consider, so not I, but consider joining the vendor member business resource directory that the National Single Parent is restarting up again. We have a special page, and because of Tim, we are now able to start marketing the business directory. Not only is the business directory for businesses to meet and connect, but is for anyone, not just single parents, but anyone who wants new resources and great businesses to service and use. And in turn, the business, we all know the bottom line is profits. So we want to help businesses increase their profits by in turn helping the Coach Judy Live talk show and the National Single Parent Resource Center. Because without funds, we can't do too much. And that brings me to another topic that I want to bring up in just a moment, and why we're able to bring you some really great slides for you to see. But let me just apologize. When you get older, guess what? We all, when we're really busy, sometimes get a little tongue-tied, or we may forget something that we meant to do. So I want to remind you all to please comment as to what is it that we are saying that relates and that's in common with what Jose had to say. It is so important that we all have support and that we learn and we grow so that we can enjoy our lives, whether you're a single parent, whether you are an employee, employer, a mother, a father, because what's important that I want to mention is that single parent families impact aunts, uncles, and grandparents and cousins, because too often many of our children are denied the right to have a connection with their other family. And I can only say that please let go of your anger, redirect it into positive thoughts and actions so that your children, our children, can enjoy everybody, unless there is an abusive situation that puts the child mentally or physically in arm's length and causing harm. And if there is supervised visitation. And there are programs out there so you can get supervised visitation. And again, I want to add that we all need support. We all need knowledge. So where do you go to get it? You can click on coachjudy.info or reach out to me at coachjudylive@gmail.com. We have our online video program that you can take advantage of that's 2 hours long. And we're going to have some parts of it on our website because of our new intern, who is a minor, so we will not mention her name. But she came to us through a wonderful organization that we will have on our show to help the organization get marketing pieces together so we can put it out there so you can discover and learn about who we are, what we do, what we offer, and how we can make a difference, and besides, give you the support that you need. And that brings to the person who is doing the graphics on our show, and I'm going to ask if she could put up our commercial and our banner so that you can see what the show is all about. So hopefully she is hearing me. There we go. There we go. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, thank our intern who came from an organization that we'll have on the show to help us create the graphics and make our show a little bit more interesting, and also to bring you information that you can write down and make it easy to get in touch with me, the nonprofit, or our guests. What she had to say about being an intern is this. Oh, I'm sorry, I grabbed the wrong page here. Here's what I want to read to you. I couldn't memorize it, but this is why I'm encouraging other business owners and nonprofits to seek out interns, because not only are you teaching them, but they're teaching you. And in turn, you become their mentor during the time they're with you, because they too need knowledge, need to learn how you work with people in the business world. And the knowledge they gain will help them find what they want to do in life and have a passion and be successful. And I want to say to you, if you are listening and you have a senior in high school who would like to build up their resume and come work with the National Single Parent Resource Center, please reach out to our website at www.coachjudy.info, or email me at coachjudylive@gmail.com, because again, I want to mention it is our intern that has made it possible to upscale our talk show and to have marketing materials to begin sending out to businesses, to organizations, and companies that may be at risk of having employees becoming single parents, who in turn lose their productivity because of the stress that goes on and lacking the knowledge that could cost them lots of money, time, anger, and frustration. And it's difficult to work when you're dealing with those emotions. But I want to thank our intern again. I know I'm repeating myself, but we have more people tuning in, and I want to make sure we get all the right information out. Our intern said, being an intern has enhanced multiple skills, such as persistency and optimism, that I can apply in real life and with my peers and even family. I regularly use persistence whenever I'm trying to problem solve, yet have no answers. Specifically, when I'm doing work, persistency and optimism normally helps me to get around with Canva and StreamYard that is used to create the programs for the National Single Parent Resource Center marketing materials, as well as working and producing our show on YouTube with StreamYard. I've also noticed that with all the videos I've watched on YouTube from Coach Judy Live Talk Show, that the meaning of life is much more than what you go through and what or who made you go through it. It's about how much you can bounce back from the challenges and make it positive, turning negative challenges into positive outcomes. I can't thank you enough to our intern who values what she is learning with us and growing and developing and making it possible that we can grow and expand the National Single Parent Resource Center. As a matter of fact, because of networking and discovering one of our original members who is an attorney on LinkedIn, I saw her. I said, wait a minute, she sounds familiar. I wonder if she's the person I know. I looked at her profile and I reached out, and it was the person that I knew from the beginning of the National Single Parent Resource Center back in the early 90s. And by reaching out and not being afraid to connect with people I once knew, even though my life is very different than it was then, she responded. And now, through her network, she and I and two other professionals will be meeting to get together because we share some common bonds. Sharing about caring about domestic violence, abuse, and helping families navigate the family court system so children can have parents and family members to work in the best interests of the children and create cooperation and harmony. Isn't that what we all want in this country and in the world? Cooperation and harmony, working together, working as a team, and focusing on not the negatives, but how to turn those negatives into positives so we can achieve success. So with that in mind, I want to thank you all for listening to our show. I know we've jumped around a little bit as we've had a few technical issues, but guess what? That comes from learning and growing from the technical issues so that we can do even more with our next show, because our intern has informed me that she would like to continue producing and creating the materials we need to expand the National Single Parent Resource Center. And I just discovered, because I came on the studio early, I forgot to put my jacket on, because those who know me know I'm a jacket person and being very professional. So I'm going to give you our website again, www.coachjudy.info. Benefits businesses, families, single parents, and anybody else who's living a life that needs support and help and dealing with the family court system and looking to connect with other like-minded people. And let me see what else. I keep saying, and I apologize. I didn't mean to do that, as I'm just a little thrown off with some things that took place. But thank you for tuning in. Keep tuning in. We're going to have other great shows. We're doing a show once a month because we need assistance. We need support. We need help from those in the community, from interns to the organizations, to businesses, to sponsors, donors, advertisers, because we have programs so everybody wins and we all can achieve the success we want and enjoy life to the fullest. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you have a great day, a great week, and remember, ignite the positives by turning challenges into opportunities for learning and growing, and enjoy life, because guess what? You, I, and everybody deserves to enjoy life. Thank you so much.